Oh! Damn. Damn. Oh. Come back, bro. You gotta come back. Ah! This nigga!
Power and the money, money and the power. Minute after minute, hour after hour. Everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen. But I don't know what's cooking.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
That's fantastic to hear. Now, today you voluntarily came to me to have an interview to share your side of the story, correct?
Yes.
And that's wonderful. But before we actually get into the Cyanide 3 scenario, let us hear your origin story. The entire reason how you and Cyanide 3 met.
Well, it was kind of like, basically, like, I guess we'll start off with how I found out about Cyanide 3. I found her out either through IC Hazard or one of the videos that was recommended to me. So yeah, either of those two was how I found out about her. And then later on, I just started, watching Sonic 3's videos and the Akai rant and the Yoshi V1 rant, and basically it led up to the point where I started to kind of comment on some of her newer stuff, like simple stuff like oh, you made me laugh and you were kind of funny, some stuff like that. Like that, I was saying stuff like that. And then I came across another video where she said something like she had a hard time finding similar pictures to match with her emotions and stuff like that. So I felt like that was a chance for me to step in and say, hey, I'm an artist on DA. I would like to, make sprites for you if that's all right with you. I was a little bit nervous about it because she had a lot of subs and stuff like that. So I was a little nervous at first because I thought she would she kind of surprised me. She actually agreed that she actually do that. So we started from there, from Mel, at first talking about how we should draw the sprites and stuff like that and all that stuff. And then during the time we ended up, messaging on the time when YouTube decided to make a chat, which I kind of wish they still kept, by the way, because it was actually, I would say it's a lot. Oh, I think that was a pretty good function that they had with YouTube, was they had a chat one time along. It was just, I guess it was kind of recent, kind of, how they stopped trying to try that out. So we talked there. We started off talking there then, and then this was all before, the drama happened. This was like around, I believe, the beginning of 2018, I think. I'm not too sure, but it was like, I'm pretty sure it was. And then later on, I believe, I noticed a Dumbsville video. I didn't notice the Aldrin video but until later on. But the Dumbsville video was the first video I've noticed besides the Aldrin video. And I wanted to ask Sonic 3, like, hey, what's this video about? Like why are people talking about you like this and stuff like that? I didn't see the video, but I thought it was like a full-on hatred video at first because I didn't see it. So I judged it because I didn't watch it.
You judged it at face value?
Yeah, I judged the video because I didn't want to see it at first. But yeah, I asked her what the video, why there's people making videos on you and stuff like that. And she said like there was like some drama or something having to do with one of her videos or something like that. And she wanted me to look at her apology. And so I did, and it explained a lot. I said, oh, I didn't know, and stuff like that. And then we still stopped talking about that later on. And I believe she came to me and she told me, hey, me and Amy Chan broke up. And I was like, really? And she's all like, yeah, we broke up, and would you mind if I, contact you on Discord so you can co-op? I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it. So we talked, and pretty much we've talked ever since then, and such and such, and it ended this year. So yeah, ever since then,
Well, that's quite the origin story.
Yeah.
You met Cyanide 3 just by commenting. The same thing that happened to Draco. Eventually, in her newer videos, you two became acquaintance, and then eventually, from down the road, you became friends. And you were there during the time that Cyanide 3 broke up with, or ended the relationship with Amy-chan.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that being said, let's get into the actual scenario, which was the mini rant series.
Mm-hmm.
So, from what I can recall, you participated on the mini rant series on the first part. I will ask you some questions, and you're gonna have to make this as any way as you possibly can to answer them.
Sure.
Is that when you first started to help Cyanide 3 about the entire event, were there any red flags for you during the time when you made those videos with her?
The only thing I could say patient with Minnie, that was the one thing I've kind of noticed, that she was kind of impatient at times. Like every time when I see her, she's always a little bit frustrated about Minnie not doing his recording or something like that, or me not doing my recording or stuff like that. Like she was pretty much honest a lot on getting things done for her and stuff like that. Like that's like one of the key things that I've noticed about her, is that she's extremely impatient. She's all like, I need this video ASAP. She's always like that to me and everyone else, and she just seemed very impatient to me.
I'm guessing that she was in a hurry or in a rush to make the mini rant series.
Basically, I would say, yeah.
Which explains why I'm guessing there is some, some dialogue that is a bit, how do you say? There were some dialogue that didn't really make any sense on that video, but
I believe it.
So, I'm guessing after saying that, is that what were your thoughts, particularly on, I guess, the feedback that video?
The feedback on the melody video?
Yes, the first one.
At first, no one really did it at first. Some people did make a video on it, but for me at the to me, they seemed to be okay with it. There was people like, Ghosty who replied to it and stuff like that.
Ghosty was the only one who replied to it, no one else.
Oh, really?
Well,
I thought there was one particular person. There weren't a popular person, but there was a person that did respond, I believe. I'm not too sure who it was, but there was one.
As far as my information goes, during the time that it did happen, Ghosty was the only one who responded.
I guess, but I thought I saw another person did. Like there was like another character. I think there was another person, like a not very popular person. I think it was like I think it was the guy that had an anime character. I think like the black hair and stuff and black shirt. I think that was him. I'm not too sure. I think it was. I'm not too sure. Like he just kind of talked about it. He didn't like make a whole review on it. I think he was just saying stuff like Cyanide 3 making a mistake or something like that. Like that was the only thing like I remember him saying in the video, but I'm not too sure. It's been a while.
So I'm guessing, what were your thoughts when Ghosty responded to Cyanide 3's video? Did Cyanide 3 ever even watch the full length of the video?
No, she hasn't. She made apparently she made Mene watch it. I didn't know that for sure. Like Mene was like, saying stuff like, I'm watching the whole video. I'm like, why are you watching the video for? And he didn't tell me why. He didn't tell me why he was watching it. He just was watching it. I'm like, I told him don't watch it because it was like an hour long and I didn't want him to get stressed about it. So, but then he watched it anyway, and I was like really surprised why he was doing that until he told me later on that Cyanide 3 was making him do that.
Well, it seems that so far, and that's quite odd, is that Cyanide 3 made me watch Ghost.exe's video, the full length of it. What were your thoughts when the video was released? But then again, you did tell me that you didn't really watch the video, and that's kind of a mistake, because not watching a video that is a response to your collaboration video is usually kind of a stretch of nihilism, because you really do want to know what other people think about the video before trying to say things that could cause a verbal conflict throughout the community. And of course, this is like commentator 101, is like always pay attention to others, including the ones who may or may not be against you. Definitely. So after that, I'm guessing that the entire of course, the first scenario is all perspective. You either agree with Cyanide 3 or you disagree. Choose your poison. However, that wasn't the main drama. The main drama was did a response video to Alduin's video. A video that was meant to call out on Cyanide 3's behavior because she was screaming at a minor over a fictional character. After that being said, is that as soon as the video came up and then people started watching it, a lot of people were upset this caused a flaming hurricane because the way how bad it was. So, and there's no point of the entire thing, because even Sonic 3 herself saying that there's no point of dealing with it, but yet she dealt with it anyway. So
yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
In her logic, it's kind of confusing. So
yeah, definitely.
Let me ask you, what were your thoughts when you first saw this video of Sonic 3? During the time, of course.
Hey, where did we left off?
I don't really remember. The whole point of the video, the My Dumbsville video, is to clarify on what was happening during the time in December when she had that private call with Dumbsville and Creepy. And there were two others, Hunter, and I don't know who was the last person. But those two were, I guess, there just to observe the entire conversation, while Dumbsville, Creepy, and Cyanide 3 were the only priority ones that were talking.
Mm-hmm.
So, the whole point of my Dumbsville video is to clarify on some information that was clearly false, because I only knew this information, but no one else did, and I wanted to get that information out in the public, so people won't look at Cyanide 3 as this person who's taking fake information from Dumbsville just to make him look bad. That was the whole point of the video, and also to see if Dumbsville was okay. So her getting mad at me for just the thumbnail itself, it doesn't seem right, because that video was the whole point of that video is to help both parties. It helps Dumbsville because I thought he was in an emotional state. It helped Cyanide 3 to clear up the saying of the false information thing. After that being said, me and her went back and forth, and I tried to explain to myself in the most genuine way as possible to like at least watch the video. Or did you even watch the video? That's what I said to her. Did you even watch the video? And she never answered. She never answered my question about that. And then eventually I decided she decided not to respond to me. I did say my last words, saying if you ever want to redo the interview, I will always be here. And of course, after I'm guessing March, I got blocked. I got manually blocked by her, and I can no longer send messages to her. She can no longer send messages to anybody who spoke to her earlier in the months. Eventually, that she just didn't want to hear anybody else's perspective anymore. She just decided to take her own part.
Now, there is a fun fact that I want to mention that I just remembered. There was a time when I was in a call with her, and she was saying about this blocking, situation what she was doing. She said something like, "Oh, these people who are, neutral about this, they're no use to me," saying something like that, basically saying that these neutral people are still gonna have issues about me and stuff, and then she has an issue with that. So then she's all like, "I'm just gonna leave them because they're just neutral and stuff. They're not gonna really help me with anything." That's basically what she said to me. And
I find that to be very doubtful. I mean, there's a person like me that likes to help people, even in different sides. I mean, after all, we came to her to get a perspective of what's going on, to see if we made any errors. Now, of course I know myself that I did the best I can to give her my hospitality, to improve her as a person. To be aware that some things are not meant to be and some things are meant to be. Trying to help her what's right and wrong. Now, of course, her mind takes over her entire system, and that's something I cannot control. However, I'm guessing that it is her fault for not paying attention to the videos that are made from her, because clearly it's meant to help her improve as a person. Especially mine, since I really don't make any mean comments. I don't call her stupid or an idiot for making mistakes. And it's very clear that if you watch my response video, I rarely got frustrated just by I did get annoyed, but I didn't get frustrated by the video. like a small cinch of it, barely noticeable. So after that, after she blocked everybody, and of course, unfortunately, that no one decided to. Well, some people did have access to seek her out, but of course, it didn't really go well. I'm guessing, if you were there.
I don't remember, but like all I remember is that she decided to block people because she just thought of them as not being worth to tell them and talk to them and stuff because of them being neutral and stuff. That's all I remember of that segment of my times of talking to her.
So after that, I'm guessing that it leads off to the last video, which is the Dumbsville video, the one that she took her time doing. Now this video was supposed to be a collaboration between Cyanide 3 and Mene, and they were no longer partners, and they disbanded their friendship.
Yes.
I'm guessing what happened during that event, because it's very clear that something happened, that she took her time making that third video.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing that happened is that to be honest, I don't really know why she got a bit. I guess the thing is that I think she just took a little bit of a hiatus. That's what she told me, is that she takes a bit of hiatus and then she starts making the next video. So technically, she doesn't really take her time. She just kind of takes a break and then starts the video. That's kind of what I've noticed, is that she doesn't really take her time. Is that she just takes a break and then she does the video. That's basically what she does.
I can understand that. There's no rush in art, after all.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what were your thoughts when you saw this Dumbsville video of hers?
It was very short, surprisingly, and
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but there wasn't really. It just didn't seem needed, though. It just did not seem to be needed because she didn't have a lot to say. She didn't really have a lot to talk about or have some context of what she's talking about. She's just talking and saying stuff, but that's about it. She has questions, but it's sort of obvious of the answers, I guess.
It seems needless.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Of course, I mean, it took her, I don't remember the time, but it took her like possibly 26 minutes just to come up with 2 points. One is very subjective, but easily can backfire because the way how she displayed her video, it took her 10 minutes just to get to the topic. And of course, the last point is that while I see the possibilities of that happening in her part, but again, this is something that could have possibly would have been better, because just to make at least 2 points on a video on someone who she used that looked up to her, it seems kind of a bit too much. Now, when I watched this video, I do have to agree with myself, is that I thought it was very unnecessary, should have never been made, and I'm guessing this kind of, while it wasn't as bad as Alduin's video, but it's still bad. It's still bad as it is, you know? But of course, after that, there was the final days of her appearance, and this also involves with you in a video that Spoctor did on you, and then Cyanide 3 decided to insert herself into the situation. Would you mind explaining to me what happened? Well,
for one thing, I noticed the video first before she even said anything. I watched the video before she even showed me it, because I was looking through the search of Cyanide 3 and stuff, and I came across Spoctor's video on me. I was gonna say before she showed me anything of Spoctor, I watched it before she showed me. I was like looking through Cyanide 3 videos and stuff, research, like the search engine of Cyanide 3, and I came across a video of that, and I didn't feel bad about it. It actually gave out some good critique, joking about stuff, but that was kind of the point, as well as like he was just making fun of the video, and I can totally forgive it because it's not making fun of me, it's making fun of the video that he made on me. I'm so sorry, I cannot say it right. that like he's making fun of the video, but not at me, and I forgive it. So I didn't have a problem with the video, and later on he debunked the doxing. He said, "Oh, we were just talking. Me and Ghost were just talking, but that's not proof." And that really light up my spirits, basically. That spoctor actually still does, care about me, and it really shows a lot. And that he did defend me at a topic, at something, So it's like I forgave it, and then after I watched the video, that's when Song93 posted the video to our chat, and she was all, "I don't think spoctor would be friends with you anymore," and she just started off like that, basically.
Of course, during the time that you weren't friends with spoctor, because in spoctor's words, that you two drifted apart after he started making videos.
Technically, yeah.
And during the time that you were friends, you two usually argue a lot.
Yeah, we did. If you don't know, when I was 15, I was a very sensitive child. I was very sensitive to everything that was like really sexual. I mean, I'm still sensitive to NSFW stuff, or anything, or swearing, but back then when I was like 15, it was max. So whenever he did something that was probably not very harmful, I freaked out about it, and we fought about it. And that's basically how every single argument went out with us. That's why I'm all like, I feel terrible. I feel terrible of how I acted about just harmless stuff, basically harmless stuff. And I'm just like, I think our friendship was a bit ahead of its time, because nowadays I do meet people like Tech/spoctor, and they are good people, and I'm totally fine with them. So I'm all like, what if I want to redo this friendship again and say, hey, I have a new view of people like you, and maybe we could make out, basic,
make up, not make out.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm in.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows? Only
Oh, nigga, you gay!
who can say if your love grows.
Basically, like, say I'm sorry and stuff like that. Like just put back the friendship back together. You know what I mean, right?
Yes, I do. And have you spoke to spoctor about this?
I've hinted at him a couple of times. Like I wanted to I first sorry and stuff like that. The only thing he said stuff like we didn't like the one thing I want to do is that I want it to be a call. I don't want it to be text, because I think it's a lot more effective if it's in a VC than text, because you can say anything properly. So that's what I want to do. So when I was doing it in text, it was hard for me to put all the feelings that I have about what's going on. And the only response he said, it was only one response to it. He's all like, I don't want to something. Let me remember something like. Hold on a moment. Okay. It was is the word ridicule? Is that the word that? I'm not too sure. It's been a while. He said, I don't want to ridicule you, or something like that.
Saying he doesn't want to, I guess, upset you in any way with his wording. I guess
that's what it means. And personally for me, it doesn't matter if I get hurt or not. What matters is that, that's what matters to me.
You want to make up for lost times.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So if you ever did get the opportunity to speak to him, I hope your conversation goes very well. But until then,
so too.
Until then, just keep a still mind.
Yeah.
If not, then remain steadfast. So after that, I'm guessing that Song93 took this as an offense, and then eventually kind of roll into a debacle, and then eventually you left her. What made you decide to leave Song93 after that? I mean, before that.
What made you decide to leave her?
Yeah.
Well, I guess things just start adding up, basically, and things started to make more sense to what she was doing. Like, she and other stuff, how she abused many, basically, especially many. Basically, I don't know for the life of me, but I don't know for the life of me to believe that she would do this to Minnie. Basically, what happened is that Minnie was talking to Cyanide 3 at a certain point. This was like during the time when they're all, separate from her and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Minnie has such a big heart. I'm serious. He has such a big heart. He wanted to give her another chance. He basically saw her as a flawed person, but still nice enough to be understanding. He was talking about stuff, and she was all like being defensive and stuff. And basically, there was one time when Sanaitu said, "If there's any problem with me," Minnie did. He vocalized what he felt of what Sonic 3 was doing. And Sonic 3 decided to be rude and say, "Don't talk to me that way. You're being disrespectful," or something like that. And Minnie was shocked, and stuff just got escalated from there. And then there was like one point when Minnie was all like, "Would you apologize for screaming at me?" And then apparently, into his words, this is what Minnie told me, is that she laughed at him and saying at the end, "I will never apologize to you." That shocked me. The stuff he was saying to me right there, that was before I left Sonic. And then at first I didn't believe it, because it just seemed a bit stressed out. Like, man, it's like you have to experience it to believe it in a way. You know what I mean?
I think I already did experience something like that.
But basically, I didn't believe it at first. But then later on, I wanted to be forward about this. And then, it was hard for me. It was very hard for me to try to, stand up for myself and tell her this. And I wanted to stand up for myself. So I called her and I was all like, "Hey, remember that time you asked me about that Jar was adding you and stuff?" She's all like, I think she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Why don't you like talk to him and stuff like that? Like, why don't you, because he might want to say something to you." She flipped out on me. And yeah, like, for simply just saying that, like, just talk, like, just have them talk. She's all like, "Oh, he's just gonna cause drama. He's just gonna cause drama because he doesn't have enough of me yet." She's all like that, basically.
I don't know how Jar handles communication, so I can't really I cannot give really my opinion, because I don't know how Jar responds to conversation. But please continue.
Yeah, and like it's so weird. I don't like, before I continue, I'm gonna say this. It's so weird how she's just jumping into conclusions so quickly, even though I don't even finish the sentence what I'm going to say. And she just kind of just like says, "Oh, it's this and this." I'm like, "No, it's not." But basically, anyway, let's continue with that. What I was going to say. Sorry. Anyway, so it came to the point much later in the call where she's all like, I bet you're with the haters," basically. It's like, "I bet you're just like everyone else." And then I'm just really scared, because she's all of a sudden treating me like I'm a villain all of a sudden, or someone who's just gonna kill her or something, or something like that. And then I started to try to talk, but it was so hard. I was like tearing up and everything, pretty much tearing up. And I was all like, "You're being impatient." I was like saying stuff like that. She all of a sudden started to laugh at me about that, of calling her impatient. And then she's all like, "You do realize I was joking about that, right? You do realize I was joking about being impatient, right?" She's all like that to me. And that just proved to me that her joking about certain things, it's just a cover up. It's actually like, for example, like how she mistreats Blaze, I think, or calls or is jealous of Blaze. I believe that she genuinely is jealous of Blaze, because she says that she's joking, but yet she says that she's joking about being impatient. How is that a thing? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You see, that's why I feel like she's just using the "I'm just joking" as an excuse now, because it just seems like it's all adding up now. What's even adding up even more is that later on, my friend had a talk with Sonic 3, and she clearly stated by them that my friend basically told me that Sonic 3 basically said that, me and Sprite didn't really have a friendship. And that moment really bothered me, because now that I know that, I now think, like, you know what? I believe Dumbsville and Sonic 3 did have a friendship. I feel like they did now. I feel like they did, because it's all, that's what I mean when it's all adding up. to that point, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where things are making sense. So that's basically what I've noticed. That's basically examples of how I started to realize things, because they just started to add up. It makes sense, you know?
Yes, I can see the possibilities of that happening. But after a while, I guess that what I'm trying to say is that it's very clear that Sonic 93 tries to make, this is why I say is she like tries to make as many gap closers as possible to cover up her tracks. So at times that you have to predict either if she's joking or not, or taking things seriously. And if she slips, she'll try to cover that up, that one spot, so it won't look like it was a slip. After you left Sonic 93, I'm guessing that eventually she tried to contact you when you left?
She did, but I blocked her. I messaged her before I blocked her, and I basically but I couldn't because I was really afraid, you know? I typed up everything, and she wanted to talk. From my friend, this is information I got from my friend, because, you know, because at the time, she only had one person left, as I've known, that I noticed. And basically, my friend told me that she wanted to contact you, but she found out that you blocked her and stuff, and it started to make all these assumptions about you. That's basically what she told me, and stuff like that. So I'm just all like, yeah. But yeah, anyway.
Well, I can no longer message Sonic 3 because she blocked me. There's a bot that tells me, yeah, that this person might have blocked you. And well, that is a shame, that because I do want to speak to her and see how she's doing, because I care of her well-being, and of course, but of course, enough about me. I'm guessing you said you wrote to her a last message. What exactly did you say?
I think it was like, you know, we had fun sometimes, and, you know, just talk about, because I wanted to at least, you know, tell her that, like, some things, like, hey, you know, I didn't mean to attack you. I didn't mean to, you know, basically make all this, you know, make you upset or anything. I was just wanted to talk to you about how I felt and stuff like that. Like, I was basically saying stuff like that, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I can't look back because I removed her completely from my site, so I can't look at the message now.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Because it's just that I wanted to find someone to message her saying that I am willing to speak to her again if she wants to do it civilly, and I'm happy to do it civilly. However, the thing is that I don't want to put people in jeopardy because of that. If you don't know what that means, it means that I don't want to ask someone to send a message directly to her and then they get mad at that person instead of me. That's jeopardy.
Okay.
So I, like, for example, if I would have asked you to send a message to Sonic 93, which obviously it cannot happen because you removed her, but she'll start yelling at you instead of me. It'll be some of it will be me, but it'll mostly be you, and I don't want to put you in jeopardy on that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You don't hate Sonic 3, right?
I wouldn't. The thing is that I hate what she's done. I just hate what she's done. Her as a person, she's very flawed, but she does have some good, but it's like not enough to, you know, help, you know, the flaws. Like there's not a lot of redeeming qualities that could, you know, redeem the flaws enough. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's my full-on opinion about Sonic 3 as a person, is that she's done a lot of bad stuff. She's a very flawed person. She does have good qualities, but they do not redeem the flaws enough. That's basically how I feel about her.
Okay. Let me ask you this. If there is any in a miracle that she decided to come to us with a clear mind, starts understanding her ways of failing, and she decided to apologize of what she did, would you accept that apology? If it was sincere.
Definitely, I would, because I would be happy if she did. I would be happy that she has, changed her ways. I would be. I would be so happy, because you said it would be a miracle. I really would like that, honestly. It's just the thing is that I don't have enough hope for her anymore, because it just seems, because the more stuff happens, the more I feel like she's just gonna be locked into this state of mind. Honestly, I just lose hope every time when she does something, and it just proves a lot of people right, that she won't change her ways about this, and you know what I mean, right?
Yes, but of course I have to beg to differ, because eventually change is going to happen on everyone.
I hope it does. I just really hope it does, at least, because like you said, it would be a miracle, because you said you wanted to talk to her again. Like, instantly, I'm just like, okay, she's probably just going to be like, no. She's just probably going to say no, because that's every time. Like, there's times I did suggest people that she could talk to. She's instantly just went. She always goes no. She always says no every time when I suggest one person. There was one time I asked her, hey, maybe we can talk to Ghost. Maybe you and Ghost could talk. She's all like, I don't know about that, but then she's all like, nah, I don't want to. That's basically how it goes.
Well, that's only the right decision that she ever made, to be honest. If you ask me, it's the right choice that she made. Who knows what it would have happened?
Possibly, yeah.
Well, so that's the entire story of your part. You basically said your last words, and you said your goodbyes, and then you decided to walk away without looking back.
Technically, yes. And some people did give me, because at first I wanted to leave her the next day, but my new friends basically were telling me, hey, if you leave her now, it won't be hard later, basically, because it was hard for me at the time to leave her.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. But just to let you know, Super Sprite, if Cyanide 3 ever decides to come back with an open mind, I'm always happy to help her in any possible way. Of course, as long as it brings tranquility and justice.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, we wait. We wait until she returns. So that's basically the entire story of you, from the beginning, middle, and end. And I'm guessing in the aftermath, you made a lot of good friends who I would say that they are your peers now, correct?
Yes.
And who did you make friends with?
Sage. I believe the other person's name was Shadow Shutdown, but her other account. But I think she's known for also as Rubik. I made friends with Dumbsville. Who else? There's a lot of people I did become friends with. Oh, I know their name. It's so hard.
It's fine. You don't have to say all of them. Just a few. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about the little hidden scenario that I forgot to mention, and that is basically the time that you were in Ghosty server recording calls from people. Now, I understand that. I understand that you did this for a reason. Would you mind telling me that reason?
Yes. There was one time when when I was hanging around with, not hanging around. It was more like I was kind of, listening to what people were saying and stuff about their opinions about Sonic 3, and Sonic was always being annoying about it. She was always like, what are they saying? What are they saying? And it always bothered me, because it's like, she's all like, what are they saying to convince you that I'm wrong, or something like that? And I'm just like, you know what? I didn't say it to her, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to record a conversation so you can listen to it. That was because I did it out of anger, because she was really, really bothering me. And she does it to everything. Like, if I say, oh, I like this video, and it was really okay. And she's like asking me, like, what do you like about it? What do you like about it? She goes on and on about it. Like, the deep it's not a good feeling, especially to me. I don't like when people keep on like really drilling my head of wanting to know what I feel about something, and it comes to a point where I'm just like, I just get angry because it's like I said enough. I don't want to say anymore because I said I like it and it should be fine like that. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm guessing that you did this out of anger because Cyanide 3 was trying to smack you with a stick.
Yeah.
Kind of very strange because the other interview says that you did it out of fear. So
I think it was both, like fear and anger at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why in fear then?
I guess the fear that she might think of me as a villain, because I didn't want her to think of me as that. I want her to think of me as a friend. I didn't want her to treat me horribly. So I had to do as much as I can to please her and basically make her, be, peaceful with me, because I didn't want to start anything.
So you care her that much. I can understand.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, care about what other people think and you'll always be their prisoner.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. You became her prisoner because you care about her too much.
Yeah.
But of course, it's not really up to me to make that decision. If people, again, I don't speak for the entire commentary community. They have to make their own conclusion if they want to forgive you or not.
Most definitely.
So let me start by saying this. I do forgive you for your past actions because I think you are being genuine and you wanted to start a new beginning. However, while I am skeptical about you, but I am willing to give you another chance, but don't expect any favorite perks from me. I judge my friends how I judge my family. While I may be harsh, but I am honest, brutally honest about it. So I'm going to say this to you, Super Sprite. If you try to do something like this, people are not going to be happy about it. Always pay attention to what you're thinking.
Okay.
And trust me, but don't get me wrong, as long as you be honest to yourself and to others around you, they will start to see your dignity. And then eventually, over time, people will accept you. If not, fully accept you. Let us move on from this. So, I'm guessing that after all of that, we discussed the beginning, middle, and end. I have questions for you, a Q&A, a bundle of questions that hopefully you can get to answer. So, let's get started. Question 1. What console do you play on? PS4, Wii Switch, or Xbox?
Xbox.
Interesting. And what kind of games do you like to play in daily?
On PC or console?
Well, in your most primary preferred console.
Well, I don't really use my console, but I use my PC more.
Okay, then may I ask what games do you play on PC?
I play Minecraft, I play Gmod, I play Sims, and that's pretty much all I play pretty much. Okay.
I can understand that. Everyone has their own sample of teas that may or may not apply to other people. Let's see. Next question. Do you like cats or dogs?
I like dogs more.
Interesting. A dog person. Surprising. Let's see. Here's another question. Do you prefer to eat a sandwich with cheese or with no cheese?
With cheese.
With cheese. Next question. Here's an interesting question. What did you think of all of the responses of Cyanide 3? The people who made a response video of Cyanide 3.
Would it be either before or after?
After now. After now. Like now that you can see like all the videos of the response videos of all Cyanide 3's mini rant series, what do you think of them?
I gotta say I would say that they all have a right to their own opinion, and I gotta say they pretty much have good points of what they want to say and what they feel like Cyanide 3 should do and stuff like that. I agree with it. Okay.
Next question. Are you an artist? And if you are, have you ever decided to make some animations?
I am an artist, and yes, I have asked, but it's kind of rare for me to make one, but I do one sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time I do draw art mostly.
Okay, I can understand that. Next question. Do you think that transparent remotes with transparent cases are awesome?
Um, sorry. Can you rephrase it a little bit more for me, please?
You know how when you have like a, let's just say, a console remote like the Xbox, but instead of the actual case that it's all white, it's transparent, and you get to see all the circuits and stuff. Do you think that's cool?
That's a hard question because it's like it does look cool in a way, but at the same time, I'd rather just it not really do that. I mean, if I were to do like a style concept, like just a little style, then maybe yes. But like any day, I'd rather just be covered, you know.
Okay, and would you like it even more if it glows?
That would be cool. I would like it to glow, actually.
Yeah, some people like say, why we should buy a transparent remote for your PS4? And I say to them, well, what if I told you it glows? And then I show them to them, and it's like, ooh. It's pretty amazing. This is why glowing keyboards are a thing.
Yeah.
Of course, I used to have a remote that has like its own personal fan on the handles. Oh, that was good. That was really good. But of course, mine broke, so the fan doesn't work. Sadly. Next question. What kind of TV shows do you like?
Well, I did like Powerpuff Girls one time. I did like MLP one time until I started to disagree with some of the stuff it was doing, like all the changes it's been doing. It was like really annoying and frustrating when they just kept on changing things. And recently I started liking Steven Universe, and that's basically all the shows I pretty much like so far. And I did get recently into SpongeBob as well, but yeah.
Okay. I can understand. Next question. Do you prefer water or soda?
I would say like mostly I do. I like soda, but at the same time I mostly drink water when it comes to like at home and stuff. I want something refreshing for my mouth. I have soda, not soda, water. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. This is if you were to describe yourself with one word, what would it be?
That's a tough one. I would say, I guess you could say like a heart. Does that make sense? Like someone with a, like you know, someone that has. I guess you could say someone who's very Okay, let me try a different one. That's a little bit too extreme, but let me try. A different...
No, I can understand. A heart is usually defined as a person who thinks that all life matters.
Yes.
Okay. You see that I usually have a very diverse mindset that I can think of many possibilities that could potentially happen. Of course, when you said a heart, I was like, so you find meaning in life much more viable than others. That's fine. Let's see. In art, what frustrates you the most?
Poses.
I could understand that. I could definitely understand that. Poses are usually the most challenging thing to do.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting question. A point of your artist career. Has anybody ever considered you as a very terrible artist? And if they did consider you as a terrible artist, how would you respond to that?
I think during the time when I was with Sonic 3, someone did call my art ugly, but I believe the reason why they said that because, you know, I was around Sonic 3, so of course, like, this is, like, it's kind of common that this will happen. If people, like, their art might be nice, but they just completely just hate the person and just call their art ugly, but some people might say, oh, but their art looks nice, but it says, oh, its art looks ugly, but they only say that because they don't like the person at the time, you know? Yeah. So I don't think that would really count necessarily because they didn't really explain why. So I would now, for your second question about if someone would say my art is ugly, I would feel a little sad. I would be sad, but at the same time, I would just accept it after a while that, okay, some people might find my art interesting and some people might not, you know?
And do you think that you have much to improve from your art?
Definitely, I agree. Definitely, I always want to improve my art more and more every day. And like the more I draw, the more it improves itself. And I really like perfecting my art, especially when it comes to my art and stuff like that, you know?
Well, I hope one day that you improve your art as better as mine. Let's see. Next question. Here's a very interesting one, and it involves Sonic 3. What was the time that you made her laugh?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe, I guess the time when I was like making fun of MOP, she did laugh a little bit. I think that's one. You know, that's one thing I remember that she did laugh at.
Okay. And what was the joke?
I guess the joke about, you know, Twilight freaking out and stuff.
Well, I don't watch MLP, so I don't know what the hell's going on in that show.
It's fine, but yeah, it was an inside joke at the time.
I can understand that. I mean, inside jokes are meant to be kept private into a certain group or certain individuals, whoever wants to participate on that scenario, which I can fully understand. If someone were to tell you if, I guess, actually, let me rewrite that. As an artist, usually people get tempted when people criticize their art. So my question is that if you drew a picture of an apple, and to other people they say that this apple kind of looks very strange, how would you feel of people looking at your picture of an apple very strange to them? How would you react to that?
I guess I would be kind of confused because it looks alright to me. I mean, I would ask them why they think that, because I think it looks fine. That's basically me.
Like, they're not saying anything bad about it, they're just saying like it looks very strange to them.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but a few people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you're the type of person that will actually ask questions. Here's another question. If, in a possible way, if you find yourself in a roller coaster and it's about to take off, would you be able to handle it?
No.
Not really a roller coaster fan?
I'm not a roller coaster fan. I don't like the vibration or, you know, feeling like good. It doesn't feel good.
Of course, no one likes to be flailed around.
Yeah, I don't like that feeling.
Alright. Just a couple more questions and we'll be fun. We'll be finished. Let's see. Do you like having like stuffed animals in your room?
Yes.
And what kind of animal do you like having in your room?
I like bears and dogs and probably rabbits.
Interesting. I used to have Shamu.
Oh, I actually did have a Shamu toy from SeaWorld 2 at one time.
It's pretty nice. Here's a very good question. How would you look at this video when it's finished editing and all of its parts? What would you think of this video?
I would be with it that I had the chance to talk to people, and that I want to be opened and say and talk about my story and, you know, my experience, and it just makes me more motivated to do more stuff with myself, you know.
Okay. Here's another question. Would you ever want it to go back to Ghost.exe server? And if you have, how is it?
I haven't. I'm not there. I'm not at Ghost.exe server yet, but I would want to go back there.
Well, of course, you have a lot of explaining to do if you ever decide to go back.
Yes, definitely, and I would explain.
But like I said, if that ever does come, make sure to always remain steadfast. Be honest, and they will believe you.
Okay.
They will see the level of genuine. They'll see it. One more question. Let's see. In the point of time being, basically all of this has now settled down. The Sonic 3 is no longer in the internet. And have you learned anything throughout this debacle?
I've learned to listen to people who have issues with something.
Mm-hmm.
Because they might be the most because they could be the person who's right about something. Maybe not fully, but they might have something that they want to discuss on how to improve it. And you know, like, it's like if I have an issue with something, you know, and people want to know, and I will explain it. So like the most people I would say like who have an issue with something probably might be the people who are much more honest about what they feel about it.
Okay, good to know. Well, that is all of the Q&A questions that I have. Now, I will ask you this. What is your final thoughts?
My final thoughts on Sonic 3?
Yes.
Well, I personally wish that Sonic would understand and basically talk to people. I just really want her to talk to people that have issues with her. Like, just talk to them and understand what they feel. Just really, talk. Like, because talking is so much. It's really good when you talk to people that have issues about you or any problem. Talking out is, to me, the most important thing to do in a situation like this. Like talking to people, which I've been doing, has helped me a lot.
Well said. After all of that, of course, we know for a fact that now that everything has settled down, everything has calmed down, and of course I have a lot of work to do because I literally had to edit out 3 interview videos, yours meaning the mene and Draco. So, do you have any final words before I end this interview?
Well, I would like to say thank you for letting me in here, and I really appreciate you hearing what my my story and giving me questions, and I answered them. I really appreciate it. I also appreciate the interview.
Well, I'm happy that you came to me to have this interview. And I'll try my best to edit out as much stuttering and put as much editing effort as possible.
Okay.
So for that being said, I'm glad that everything in your part is going well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, before I actually end this, any advice for people in the future? If something like this ever happens to a specific person?
Just really listen to people. Just really listen to people who have issues with something, someone that you might like. Really hear them out, because they might be onto something. Like, really listen to them first, and then probably you could listen to the other side, and then probably you could put the puzzle pieces together and might come to your conclusion how you feel about something. Like, really do that first before you make a decision. That's what I would say to someone.
Well, it's nice to see that you improve.
I hope everyone has enjoyed the video. I would like to thank Supersprite for allowing me to do an interview with him. And I gotta say, I did enjoy our conversation. Now, for that being said, I'm going to end this video off because I am tired as hell. So please, I hope everyone enjoyed all 3 interviews. And I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Keep on shining.